Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of May 8th through 14th of 2017. You know, I have to tell you, when the year began, you know how we all start the year. New year, new you, new me, all of that, and then it just kind of went flat, right? Not for the lack of trying, but there were only a couple good days in there to initiate things, to do things, to try and make changes. And it just didn't seem to want to happen. And, you know, it's left a lot of people really frustrated. This week, I mean, we're in this week, we do now have Mercury direct. That's a good thing. We still have Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto retrograde. Venus is coming close to leaving shadow, but that won't be until next week. So what is going on this week? This is like not the major week of the year, but the beginning of the major things of the year is probably the best way to put it. Because on the 10th, and everything is happening on the 10th, by the way, this is our focal point of the week. We will have our annual full moon in Scorpio, which always promises intensity. And, you know, for some, this is in a very good way, okay? So don't fear it. But what is so wonderful is the timing with this full moon. And full moons are about letting go, right? The north and south nodes will move respectively into the signs of Leo and Aquarius. And if Leo Aquarius sounds familiar to you, that is because back in February, we did have a full moon lunar eclipse in Leo, which began bringing in that Leo Aquarius cycle of eclipses. So what's happening on the 10th is we're ushering in a brand new 18-month cycle, which will be finished on November 6th of 2018. Now, one of the things I want to tell those of you who have been following me for a really long time is that go ahead, you know, find something somewhere and mark that off for next year. But pay attention to the things that begin to change from the 10th and beyond. Because those themes and changes, you may have had some hints of them over the last couple months with that full moon in February. But you're going to see things shifting. And I think, and I don't know how to best put this, but if we can understand the cycles that we're involved in, and obviously this isn't the only one which will affect you, I think it's beneficial in the respect of not beating your head against the wall with a particular issue. Because I know how many of you out there have had the same thing going on for the last 18 months and been unable to just make it gel, make it happen, make it work the way you want. That is about to shift. So keep that in mind, okay? So in essence this week, it's as though, you know, the battle has been won. Maybe the battle with the cycle itself. Little bittersweet for some of you, you know, because even victories can often feel like defeats. Getting away from something, overcoming something, doesn't always mean that you feel as though you have won. But you made it this far, and that's what's important to remember. Now, one of the things, and we've talked about, not this week, but we've talked about the week where the 22nd falls for a very long time, okay? As the cycle begins to shift this week and you start to explore new possibilities and directions to take, some of you may feel as though there's a little bit of a limbo going on. This time period between the 10th and the 22nd is really for taking a good look around, because by the time the 22nd arrives, it will be much clearer which direction you want to go. There is just this whole uncharted territory coming in, and although this is an 18-month cycle, a great deal of what you are currently going to set out this week to accomplish is going to take place over the next 4 months, okay? And this involves not just yourself and your plans, but other people who can help you make those plans work in order to alleviate the stress. I think that, where once there didn't seem to be solutions, they'll start coming to you in maybe a little bit of an unorthodox fashion. All right. What you once thought. See, this is all about your perspective changing. You're going to be surprised when you take the time out to say, oh boy, I never would have thought that 2 years ago. Right? Big difference in how you think about things. This is a cycle from which I think most of you will be happy to move on. Okay? No doubt about it. There's new doors opening. The cycle's complete. And it's kind of like that, oh, let me get up one more time and keep on going. All right? You've done it. It really, and here again, I've mentioned this several times because I've already talked a lot about May 22nd, but on the 20th, the sun enters Gemini. Things feel much better by then. Really much better. Okay? So this month is kind of like a work in progress. It doesn't all happen in a day. And we spoke last week about, how once Mercury went direct and things, they're beginning to move, but the movement isn't quick. This week, though, things are starting to shift, and you will be taking notice. So, that clarity that you need, I really think it comes a little later in the month, and that will help you in moving forward. There's so much to break free from yet, but this is where you enter the cycle this week that allows you to really, truly break free. Like you've wanted out of this situation. You've wanted to change this situation. Now you will be able to do it. Okay. New 18-month cycle. It's amazing. So many of you have, I want to say, goals for securing your future. The things that were so wrong for the last 5 years or so. It's not just that I don't ever want to see this happen again. It's how can I build a stronger, secure base for myself? And that's what this is about, all right? That's what you're beginning here now. It's leading you to an entirely new life. Because that's part of, when I mentioned the bittersweet back in the beginning, there's no going backward, okay? I don't care how young you are. It's not going to be that way. You are definitely entering a new phase of life. And not just because it's a new 18-month cycle. This has been coming for a while. There's a big transition that's about to take place in your life that's opening up a whole new chapter and a whole new you. And it's on its way. All right. I think by September, October, you're in it and you recognize it and you know what it is. So, here we are. Still proceeding slowly. But your efforts through patience are so much more rewarded, okay? And I think that it allows you time when you take your time to be more in tune with yourself and understanding how to manifest. There's not some secret process, okay? Now, there is no secret process to manifesting things. A lot of it does have to do with the timing and the cycles in life. And that's why it often gets so frustrating and stressful when we can't make things happen. It's just not the right time. It is not because you haven't put forth the effort or that you've done something wrong. In other words, right now, you need to continue. But you are, with each passing day, moving further away from that Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will leave shadow on the 21st. So each day it gets a little bit better. And you can start to slowly plod forward with your plans. It's not quite time to move too quick. All right? That's coming probably in June. You could really make some bold moves. All right? But right now, just keep on rolling slowly. And you will get there. Now, what will fulfill you? What will make you happy? Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. It's coming. I'm telling you, once you get to the 10th, and more so later in the month when it becomes clearer, it just, you know what to do. And I think in June you can really start doing it. I'm telling you, June, July, August, September, October, you're in this whole new life. How is that even possible? It is, though. It is. I think one of the biggest fears that we all suffer from when it comes to change, even good change that we would like to see in our lives, you become so accustomed to the life that you have that you can't imagine what's supposed to fill those gaps. Trust me, the universe will fill it. It'll fill it with abundance. There'll be so many wonderful things that come in. So by allowing all those things to just be gone and move into the new cycle, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And indeed, a new life is totally possible. I want to say that basically, I feel like June, the karma from that past life disaster, it is done. All right. Once you're in this new phase this week and you're going forward, you're just like starting with whatever's on your list. Everybody has a different list of things that they need to do, things that they need to make happen. And the solstice is very predominant in this reading. Okay, the solstice in June. So keep that in mind, because you have so much clarity and wisdom by then that you are really able to take care of things. The help you seek, you're going to be looking for it. You'll find it. Remember, I said there needs to be other people. So it's a part of it. And like I said, this is over June, July, August, and September. If you remember back in March, we spoke about from equinox to equinox. And it all comes in phases. And as long as you go along, do what you have to do, and go with the phases, I don't think you're going to have any issues here. So gradually, you're going to notice that the universe is really beginning to work in your favor, okay? Where you start to notice the blessings of it all. And remember, I spoke about the abundance. You can dump all that emotional baggage, okay? Almost definitely. When I look around, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot that's happening here. And, you know, it's like, let's go find out. Let's find out what's behind door number 2. It's not as much about being willing to take a chance as it is about being able to get out there and seek new opportunities. You know, you don't always know exactly what it is you want to manifest until you get out there and you do it. So there's a recovery period in here. All right. You're done with that last 18 months, which, by the way, was the whole Virgo Pisces thing. Okay. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to move on from it. It was a period of time that left many people feeling a little bit cheated in some area, cheated from certain successes. And, you know, it's just a big, big shift in how you're going to feel. So you're giving birth to a whole new phase here, which is going to allow you to create the abundance that you need. Here again, it does not all happen overnight. It's about gradual change and, you know, seeking to break down barriers. This is important. I feel like many of you have put up some walls over time, you know, over the last 5 years, maybe. You know, it's just your means of protecting yourself from the status quo because you felt really, you know, penned in by it. And honestly, while you've managed to effect some sort of changes in your life and put yourself back on solid ground, like I said, you're in that recovery mode now. I think now is where you finally begin to rebuild. Because you haven't known yet what it was you were going to build. You just know you got rid of all that old crap and it's time to move on. So there hasn't been a lot of wiggle room to, you know, really figure out how to get away from it all. Like once and for all, and build what's necessary. What comes next? What do you need next? It's amazing. But, you know, I think you're light. And you do have one. It shines forth for more people to see. August is going to be a very important moment, you know, that I want to say like tips the scales. All right. Like if you're going along starting this week with this new phase, and you're wondering, okay, I'm working on making changes, I'm going forward, where is my turning point? What's going to make it happen? I think August. I think that total solar eclipse on the 21st is what's going to set a lot of things straight. And, you know, you're coming back into your power in a very creative way. There's a lot of success to come to you. Now, let's discuss this too. On the outside chance that there's somebody who managed to get a hold of this recording and your life does not sound anything like what I'm saying, you're in another cycle. But the people that are here, they've already been through all of this, and they're ready for what's coming. They're ready for that new identity. Wow. Like, it's amazing. This August is definitely the turning point for this, and things are just going to begin to go forward. Wow. Without all of the burdens. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So if this month tells you, if this week where this cycle begins, if this starts telling you what it is that you need to do, and next month is where you really begin doing it, you start implementing all of those plans for your future. So then by August, big turning point, everything just starts to really break loose then. We have a lot of things to talk about in August, and I mentioned, you know, the shift I'm talking about with the nodes. There will be a special lengthy tarot guidance on Patreon for this, okay? I am hoping and praying that it does cover the entire 18 months. These things, they do what they want to do, so we'll see what comes from that. But there is something in August worth celebrating. But I really feel more so than it being August that it is in September by the equinox. And I think that where you really feel like, if you want to go like a moment where you just go like, ah, like you can really breathe, like, what happened the last 5 years? I forgot all about it. That's coming. September 9th, somewhere in there. It just all starts to feel good. So you're at the beginning of it this week, right now. When you look at these cards, they say you've made it. Keep on going. There is so much more to come, so much more to experience. And for goodness sake, don't mourn what you left behind. Embrace what's coming, because I think you're going to really love it even more than what is gone. So I want to thank you all very much for being here. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon, because there's a lot of good info over there. And take care. I'll see you here again soon.